Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange home gain gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's homegain.com. HOMEGAIN.com. Check them out today.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Well, AP, Reuters, French news agency, they've all got the same headline. Israel has 8 days to hit Iran's nuclear site. That's the former U.S. ambassador to the UN, Bolton. They've got Jeffrey Goldberg, the admitted Israel operative, running around saying we've got to do it at the New Atlantic. All of this is happening. And we're talking to a former senior CIA analyst who also worked at the National Intelligence Council, who found 3 years ago that Iran was a decade away from a nuke and that they'd suspended their program. And, of course, that's what the council had said about Iraq's WMDs that had been suspended in the early 90s. But they just created a new office in the Pentagon to put out this info. So we're seeing the same thing now. Sir, ominous war clouds gathering. From your years of experience, it looks like they're trying to sell an attack on Iran now. And what would come of that if there is an attack?
Well, if there were an attack, and of course the what kind of an attack, and I think what most people have in mind, reflecting the rhetoric coming out of Tel Aviv, is that this would be an Israeli aerial attack on Iraq's nuclear installations, and that the United States, that this could not happen without either an open or a tacit approval by the United States government, because the aircraft would have to overfly areas controlled by the United States, Iraq, for example. And so this has become a major issue. As you point out, the one thing you didn't point out, of course, is that as of yesterday, the long-planned Russian designed and assisted nuclear power plant at Bushehr in Iran was open because the Russians delivered to the plant the nuclear fuel to get it running. It has not yet been installed, and that's what gets to this 8-day thing that's been raised. It will take approximately another week to get all the fuel in there, and it's being argued by Bolton and others that the plant must be destroyed before the fuel is in there, because if the fuel is there and then it is bombed, then you set up a Chernobyl type situation with radioactive material spreading all over the whole Middle East, which is kind of suicidal for anybody that gets involved in this. This has been magnified, if you will, and publicized very highly by this article by Jeffrey Goldberg, whom you rightly describe as basically an Israeli asset, if you will, in the United States, in the Atlantic Monthly, which showed it really is focused as much on our current United States government, the Barack Obama administration, that the only way the United States can really prevent Israel from carrying out such an attack is by itself taking a more direct military, paramilitary, economic role in forcing the Iranian government to abandon its current nuclear power program. So this, as I say, this all comes about, but I think from my perspective, one of the main factors to consider here is that this elevating, and it's been pretty high profile for quite a while.
I'll tell you what, sorry to interrupt. Let's hit that key point straight ahead with our final segment with our guest, and Dr. Paul Craig Roberts coming up. Listen up, friends. This is Alex Jones with key information. The mainstream media is now admitting that we're going into a depression. Don't be dependent on the government for you and your family. You need to get your own supply of high-quality storable foods from efoodsdirect.com. They're the best company out there, the longest continually operating, with a ton of great food to choose from. It's all fresh and made on a monthly basis, not some old cruddy food they're selling you like some of the other guys. Try their new evacuation pack, a 2-week supply of delicious, easy-to-fix food. It comes with all the equipment you need to prepare it. With open talk of a strike on Iran in the next 3 months, the crisis in the Gulf, and possible evacuations, get yourself and your family ready today. The place to go is efoodsdirect.com. Go to their website online right now, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or call 800-409-5633. Again, on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or give them a call at 800-409-5633.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, 2 wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You are being warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, he was a senior CIA analyst, of course, in the Marine Corps before that, in intelligence. And he's a famous, well-known whistleblower who exposed fake intelligence back in the 80s. And it's the same story, just on a bigger scale. If you look at even the hawks in government, they admit that an attack on Iran, and they published 3 years ago some of the attack plans, hundreds of sites, their Navy, their power plants, their bridges, their infrastructure being annihilated, a crime against humanity. Our government has overthrown Iran in '53. It's done all sorts of horrible things to them, covert operations. Bush, Cy Hirsch 6 years ago reported on this. 2 years after that, 4 years ago, the White House put out a press release saying, yes, we're running 4 different sectarian groups, 3 of them al-Qaeda related, Wahhabis connected out of Saudi Arabia, inside Iran, sabotaging and staging terror attacks. I mean, this is admitted. It's like Bush 2 months ago came out and said, yeah, I ordered torture, and I'd order it again. But he sent people to prison that followed his memos from John Yoo and from Alberto Gonzales, the Attorney General. It's so criminal. And now with Obama, it's continuing. And we left off with the former, IDF prison guard, Jeffrey Goldberg, writing in The Atlantic that America, the United States, needs to attack Iran. And most analysts think it could trigger World War III, but regardless, it's going to double or triple oil prices, a global jihad, not fake terror, real attacks are going to begin. And I think, sir, that they want to invoke this clash of civilizations. They want to stir up the Muslim hornet's nest in Central Asia, into the Middle East, and then into Eastern Europe and the United States. I mean, specifically, what do you think the grand design here is? What is AIPAC looking for? What are the hawks at the Pentagon looking for? And do you believe they are moving towards a green light on an attack on Iran?
Well, I would agree with your last point. They are moving toward it. The likelihood of giving this green light is greater than it was, let's say, a year and a half ago, when especially the Israelis were in some sort of a panic trying to figure out what the Obama administration's actual policy in the Middle East would be. And they've been, I think they've been relieved. I think they have the very strong elements directly within the White House. I need merely say Rahm Emanuel, and there are several others very close in this so-called national security.
Admitted member of the Israeli military. White House chief of staff.
Emanuel is, he's right there as, basically an Israeli representative in the White House, and he's very hawkish and so forth. Now, that said, I'd like to refer your listeners, our listeners at this point, to the comment which Martin Indyk, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel and currently a vice president of the Brookings Institution here in Washington, commented on the Goldberg article and came up with the conclusion that the United States was more likely than Israel to bomb Iran. In other words, if in fact the United States determines that Israel would go ahead with this and that the United States would be put in a bad position, if you will, by moving effectively to prevent Israel from doing it, then the United States would be more likely to take the action to destroy the installations at Bushehr and show its determination. This would really be, Obama's complete transformation into the new Bush in there. And I think there is that Indyk certainly knows the region. Makes a certain amount of sense in coming to this conclusion. The point I was going to make before we went to break last time, which makes this whole situation, less predictable and more chancy than it was before. This is happening in the middle of the run-up to the congressional elections this fall. And God knows the Republican Party will play the Israeli card on this one. There are many elements within the Democratic Party which will also play the Israeli card on this and arguably force Obama's hand, force a decision which says, oh, God, for political purposes, if nothing else, we've got to take some dramatic action here in the Iran situation.
Well, that was my next point. We saw in the Financial Times of London 2 weeks ago, or now 3 weeks ago, former top Clinton advisor, also advising Obama, Robert Shapiro, saying, if we don't have an Oklahoma City or a new 9/11 or some big event to make Obama look strong, to make people rally around him, there's going to be a complete sweep of the Democrats. And so they understand that at least short term with a new war, people will rally around the leader, at that sociological, primitive level. And so that's why Ray McGovern and many others, and I guess you're saying the same thing, are saying that this is the prime zone of danger going into November.
Yeah, well, I told, I